Well, turning now to Montreal, where pro-Palestinian demonstrators are gathering outside the Israeli Consulate. They are marking Nakba Day, which commemorates the mass displacement of Palestinians during Israel's creation. Kwabena Oduru has been tracking all of this for us. He joins us now at the consulate. Kwabena, what are you seeing there?
Well, Natalie, there are a lot of people from all across Quebec. This is part of the protests that have been happening every weekend since October 7th. They've been gathering and marching the streets of Montreal, but today is a little different because there are people who came from across Quebec to participate in this one. I want to show you what it looks like behind me. You will see a sea of Palestinian flags, and they are gathered outside the Israeli Consulate to mark the 76th Nakba Day, an anniversary marking the displacement of Palestinians after Israel's declaration of independence. And they say they are using this as a way to continue to make their demands heard.
We want, first of all, an immediate ceasefire, and we want for an end of all Canadian complicity. So, for example, we want a two-ways embargo. We want a full boycott of Israeli goods and Israeli institutions until they resign themselves to comply with international law and international measures.
And I spoke to one man. He says that his grandparents are from Palestine, and he says the past 7 months have been really hard on him emotionally. He's had to take off work, but he says that knowing that people are supporting him and supporting his people makes him feel full inside.
My grandparents are Palestinian, so they grew up in Palestine. My grandfather left when he was 14 years old. My grandmother also lived in Palestine. She left with her family when she was very young, so they grew up in Jordan, so it's basically the motherland. It's back home. It's heartbreaking because it kind of refuses the fact that the Palestinian people living on the ground don't have the right to live or the right to speak or the right to exist in peace.
And even after this protest is finished later today, people say that they're going to continue protesting every weekend until their demands are met and there is an immediate ceasefire.
Kwabena, we know the University of McGill is seeking an injunction demanding protesters dismantle the encampment that is at their campus. So what's the reaction been to that?
So I've been speaking to people ever since I got here earlier this afternoon, and they've been saying that they are in full support of the encampment. They say that the encampment has been safe. They say because of the fact that the first injunction, which was filed by 2 students, got rejected, that they feel like this injunction should be rejected too. And they even say that even if the police dismantle the encampment, they will find ways to make their demands heard. And the protesters at the encampment are saying that the way to get them off McGill campus is to divest from funds that they say are linked to Israel. But people here say they are in full support of them and that the students are starting a revolution.
The SPVM has said that this was a peaceful protest. The students have made it very clear since day one that they are willing to pack up and leave as long as their demands are met. And their demands are to move money from unethical companies to ethical ones.
Now, McGill says that there is a health risk with the encampment being there, with a human waste being put in the encampment, and even some of that waste is going into their library ventilation systems. So they want the encampment removed for many other reasons, as well as like some tensions between the encampment and counter protesters. McGill will be going to court on Monday morning to have their injunction request heard, but still Montreal police are just monitoring the situation. But if that injunction is granted, we could see the Montreal police step in and dismantle that encampment.